What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with a preview for this week's WGC Match Play. That's right, a preview for this week's WGC Match Play Simulation, Spreadsheet Golf. This is going to be the second event of the Spreadsheet Golf season. Last week, Rory McIlroy took down the Players' Championship. I'll show you that leaderboard here. If you have not seen this, if you weren't following along, I've been simulating hole by hole for 72 holes on live stream over the course of the tournament to produce a leaderboard. And this is the final leaderboard with Rory McIlroy, 25 under par, winning by 7 shots last week. He was unstoppable. A much more compact leaderboard after that. Webb Simpson came in second with a beautiful Sunday round. Bryson DeChambeau, 1 under on Sunday. He dropped to 3rd place, and you can see the rest of the leaderboard here. Kevin Na, Brendan Todd, Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, etc., etc., etc. This was a lot of fun. I think the feedback that I got along in my Slack channel on Twitter is that this was something fun to spend an hour a day on, follow along with. There was an opportunity to make a lineup and to win some prizes. So we paid out the prizes. So I'll show you the payouts from last week. As you can see, there were prizes for each round of golf and then the overall prizes as well. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being able to do this for match play, but I had to get really creative here. I had to rework the entire spreadsheet. But before I jump into that, a couple of things. I will link all 4 rounds of last week's Players' Championship live stream in the description if you want to go check out those videos so you can see how this actually played out. So for this week's match play, I had to rework the entire spreadsheet, and basically, let me show you what this looks like. And actually, let me show you the bracket. So I'll show you the bracket because this was actually done on live stream as well. Eric Patterson and I, Eric Patterson is from The Score, longtime friend of mine. We went through and we drew out of a bingo wheel all of these groups, and we broke them all down. So you can see group 1 in the top left-hand corner, group 2 in the upper right-hand corner. The top 16 players in the field, or the top 16 players in the world were assigned seeds 1 through 16. They all got their own group, and then the rest of their group was randomly drawn on that live stream. So for example, Rory is in a group with Jason Day, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Bernd Wiesberger. John Rahm seems like he is going to run roughshod through this bracket as he is in a group with Shugo Imihara, Keegan Bradley, and Bubba Watson. So you can go through. I will link this spreadsheet as well for you to be able to view, for you to come in and see the brackets. Then I had to get more creative, and I had to create the schedule because the way this works in real life is round robin for the first 3 days. So for the first 3 days, everyone in each group is going to play one another, and then the best records are going to advance to the Sweet 16. So there's only one golfer coming out of each one of these groups. So I have created the schedule for the first 3 days here. It is sorted by group, so you can see here. So Rory will play Jason Day, day 1. He will play Bernd Wiesberger, day 2. And he will play Christian Bezuidenhout, day 3. So you can see all of the matchups here. I'll make this a little bit bigger so that we can actually see them. And then I'll keep track of the results. Now, if there is any tiebreaker situations, we will go through and simulate those as well. I'll figure out a way to do that, but we will simulate, if there's 2 guys in the group that are 2-1, for example, in the real world, they would go to a playoff. So we will find a way to simulate that as well. As for the actual simulation of the match play, this is a completely reworked spreadsheet that I'm actually pretty proud of. So here's day 1. Here is the scorecard that we're going to be seeing from day 1. And I just have random data in here. If you weren't here last week, the way that this works is the random number generator will assign a number from 1 to 100 to every golfer in the field for every hole. and that will determine whether they have made eagle, birdie, par, bogey, or a double. Then we will compare that to his opponent's score, and we will determine whether a hole was won or lost. So let me reset this and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to just very quickly randomly simulate the front 9 here. Okay, so everyone plays at the same time. They all play the same holes at the same time. I'm going to randomly simulate the front 9. And if we go back to day 1, you'll see every single match has something going on with it. So Rory is currently 2 up through 9 on Jason Day. Now, of course, these are not official. This does not count for round 1, which will be live streamed, but I'm just showing you how this spreadsheet works. So we will be able to keep track in real time who's winning, what holes did they win. You can see here Rory won holes 2 and 3. He won hole number 6, and then he lost hole number 9. And we have this for every matchup in for day number 1. And we'll do the same thing for the other days as well. So I'm just scrolling through. You can see how this looks. So pretty cool, the way that I've built this sheet. So then we also have the holes remaining. So when it finds a winner, so you'll see this, watch this. Let me see if I can find a winner here. When the spreadsheet finds a winner, it will actually throw up a little winner's designation on him so that we know that match is over and we don't have to simulate out the rest of 18. Let's see if I can find a winner. Here we go. Henrik Stenson destroyed Jordan Spieth 7 and 5. So he was 7 up with 5 to go. You can see he closed it out on number 13. It pops up a little winner designation, and we know that this match is over. Dustin Johnson, same thing. He is 6 up with 5 holes to go. He won 6 and 5. This match is over. We don't have to continue to simulate this. So pretty interesting little spreadsheet I have here. It took me a couple hours this morning, but I'm happy where it's at. So here's what we're going to do. And you can go look at the rules for the full breakdown of this. I'm going to stream all 3 matches of group play. So we'll go through them pretty quickly on Thursday, March 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then on Friday, same time, same place, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 rounds will happen. And then on Saturday, March 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern, the Final 4 and the championship rounds will be simulated, and then we will determine who the winners are. If you want, you can fill out, it's not necessarily a bracket, but you can get involved with an entry in this pool. So we're going to keep the same thing that we did last week, which is a $25 entry, 3 entry max, and you have to be in and paid before, let's call it Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern, and there will be no exceptions. I will use the timestamp on the Google form. So I will update the Google form link here, but this is what the form is going to look like for this week. A couple of things to note here. This is a Google form. No, you cannot tinker and you cannot change your answers after you've already put them in. Maybe in another couple of weeks, but right now, once you are in, you are in. So don't DM me, don't tweet at me. For now, you're locked. I understand that people want to change their lineups afterwards. Also, you are solely responsible for creating a valid entry. I am not going to chase you down and tell you that your entry is not valid. I will not be refunding you if you create an invalid entry. That's money's just going into the prize pool. You are solely responsible for it. And what I'm going to ask you to also do is when you send the $25 on PayPal, use the family and friends method so that there are no fees for either of us. I lost money last week because I paid out the entire prize pool, and a lot of you sent with, paying for goods option, which the fee comes out of. So make sure to send it for family and friends. Put your display name in your username in the description, and only your username. So here's the form. You will put in your email address, whether you've paid, if you're a member of DFS On Demand, so I will add prizes for DFS On Demand members, your name, your username that you want to be public, and then you're going to choose the winner of each group. So each group is on here. Group 1, you pick Rory, Day, Bezuidenhout, or Bernd Wiesberger. Group 2, Rahm, Imahara, which is spelled wrong. I'll fix it. Keegan Bradley and Bubba Watson, so on and so forth for the 16 groups. When you pick through the 16 groups, you will then choose your 8 Elite 8 golfers, which are the golfers that you think are going to advance to the Elite 8. This is important. If you choose 9 golfers, or you choose 7 golfers, or any number that is not 8, your entry is invalid. Plain and simple. So make sure you choose 8. I highly encourage you to choose 8 golfers that you picked to advance from the group, unless you want to hedge yourself. So if I'm in group 16 and I pick Sung Jae Im to win group 16, I might not want to pick Tony Finau to advance to the Elite 8 because they're in the same group. Both of those things can't happen. So you can hedge yourself, or you can create a very high upside bracket. After you choose your Elite 8 golfers, you're going to go down and choose your Final 4 golfers. These are the golfers that you expect to be in the Final 4. Again, I imagine you want to pick 4 of the guys that you chose to be in the Elite 8. But go ahead, hedge yourself. It's up to you. It's your entry. Then you will pick the 2 golfers that will be in the championship round. And then you will choose the actual match play champion. So there is only one choice here. You only get to pick one. It's not a checkbox situation anymore. You can only choose one. And then for a tiebreaker, the number of total tournament birdies by the champion. So if the champion plays, what would this end up being? 7 matches, right? Something like that. And you think he's going to make 6 birdies in 7 matches? What's that? 42 birdies would be the number that you would put in here as your tiebreaker. The scoring goes as follows. 1 point if your golfer wins the group. 2 points if your golfer advances to the Elite 8. 4 points if your golfer advances to the Final 4. 8 if they advance to the championship. And 16 if your golfer wins the championship. So that is how I will be scoring this. All of the scoring will be updated live on the live streams in the spreadsheet that is linked in the description. I will link it on Twitter probably a dozen times before now and Thursday. So you have all of that information there. So finally, I think that's it. I've covered the rules. I've covered the entry. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. Lineups, you got pick. Payouts, we'll determine the payouts depending on how many people get in. We had 67 paying entries last week. I assume there's going to be more this week. So we'll determine what the payouts are. Everything gets paid back. I'm not taking anything off the top of this, obviously. And everything will be live streamed on my YouTube channel. So with that in mind, let's actually look at this bracket because Eric Patterson and I kind of got into this a little bit, but there are some really difficult groups and there's some really easy groups here. So I mentioned the Jon Rahm part of this. You know, Jon Rahm, who is a match play stud, who is great in spreadsheet simulations, has one of the weaker groups that you could get. Imahara, Keegan, Bubba Watson. That is prime for him to run through. And then also the fact that he's not on the same side as Rory is really interesting as well. He would not have to face Rory until he got to the championship. Justin Thomas with Phil Mickelson, Joel Damon, and Kevin Na, that is another pretty easy group. So I like that as well, but he would have to battle Rory at some point. A couple of interesting groups. Group 9, I love Webb Simpson, and Webb Simpson loves spreadsheet golf. He is prime for this format. However, he has very volatile guys in his lineup. Billy Horschel, Ricky Fowler, Andrew Putnam, who their range of outcomes over a given tournament are very large, and also in one single round are very large. So I kind of talked about this with Eric on about someone like Ben On. Ben On is probably not going to putt well for 4 straight days and win a golf tournament. We've not seen him really do that. But in one round, he can play spoiler, which is really what Andrew Putnam can do, what Ricky Fowler can do, what Billy Horschel can do, is they can play spoiler and steal a match from Webb Simpson. And then maybe, hey, now if Webb and Ricky Fowler are 2-1 and they go to a sudden death tiebreaker, anything can happen there. So that to me is a bit of a spoiler group in group number 9. There is a group of death. It is probably 15, I think. 15 is pretty stacked. So 15 is Leishman's group with Scotty Scheffler, who is awesome at spreadsheet golf because he makes so many birdies, he makes so many eagles, but he also makes a lot of doubles. But in match play, it doesn't matter. Like if he's going to give up 2 shots, you'd rather him do it in a big way. So he was he was probably one of the most valuable players last week because he made a bunch of birdies, also offset them with doubles, but it didn't really matter because DraftKings scoring was so helpful. It's also going to be helpful in match play. So that's Leishman, Scheffler, then Hideki's in this group, and Paul Casey's in this group. It is absolutely stacked. 3 guys ranked inside the top 24 in the world, and Scotty Scheffler, who will probably be there soon. Then I think there was one other really tough group. Oh, this is an interesting group. Koepka's group. Koepka, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, and Henrik Stenson. That is a lot of big names, a lot of firepower, a lot of interest coming out of group 3. Tiger's group. Yeah, Tiger's playing this week. Tiger is in spreadsheet golf. He has committed to the match play. Is with Victor Hovland, Brandt Snedeker, and Francesco Molinari. So Molinari is going to have to face his demons of Tiger here in match play. Let's see what day they play each other. They will play each other on day 3. So it would be the 3rd of 3 matches. We'll see how that one plays out. And then I thought there was one other really tough group. Where's Woodland? Or maybe Kuchar's group. Where's Kuchar? Oh, this is kind of a tough group too. Group 13 is Bryson DeChambeau, who I obviously love in this format and all formats. Max Homa, who's been red hot. Terrell Hatton, who's unbelievable and great at match play. And then Abraham Ancer, who showed a lot of match play chops at the President's Cup this year. That is a very difficult group. And then where's my Kuchar group? Oh, it is right here. So this group here, 14, has 3 golfers inside the top 19. So it is Justin Rose's group. He's 14. Brendan Todd, Louis Oosthuizen, who's 19, and Matt Kuchar, who's 17. So that's probably the other very difficult group as well. So we'll see how this plays out. I really like where John Rahm is at. I really like Scotty Scheffler to kind of play spoiler. The group 3, like I imagine that ownership is going to be fairly spread out between Morikawa, Koepka, Spieth, Stenson to see who comes out of that group, but it should be very interesting. All right. Highly encourage you to get your entries in now if you want to play. I got messages, I got tweets, I got emails an hour after we started last week seeing if they could still get in. So the answer was obviously no, but with 2 days to go, we're going to start on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. You're going to want to get your entries in now if you want to be a part of this. And then I will include all of the links that you need. If you are looking for any information, it will be in the description of either this YouTube video or this podcast, however you are listening to it. Best of luck this week. I will see you on Thursday.